Hey YouTube, it's Les. Today we're doing a speed build for the 2016 Spooky Collab, orchestrated by Rory Plays Sims. I'll leave her description, or I'll leave her information in the description bar below. She is a awesome content creator. She does a lot of stuff on Twitch and YouTube. She does a lot of playthroughs on YouTube and stuff like that. And she got together, or she got over 100 people together to do a collaboration with, or for Halloween. So everyone got together and they decided what they were going to do, whether it had been a build or a novella or even a creative Sims and stuff like that. So she got everybody together to do that, and there's going to be a link to the playlist down below as well, so you can check out other great content creators and what they've done. And yeah, so today we're basically doing a modern styled haunted house. And by haunted house, I don't mean the kinds that you go through on Halloween and get scared shitless. I mean a basic haunted looking mansion. My my idea behind this one is that a younger person, in my head it's a woman, so a younger person, a younger woman, she bought this house for the cheap, and it was sold as is, and she did renovations to it to make it her own. And she is much more of a modern type of person, I suppose. So she bought it and she put her own twist on it in a modern way, and you can see that downstairs there was a wall cut out there, and it's separated by, or it's held up by two pillars, two columns, and that just kind of gives you an idea of what she was getting at here. She wanted to make sure that she brought her own modern type of twist into this, which is cool. To me, it's cool. I really like doing modern builds. They're probably one of my favorite things to do. The majority of my builds tend to do modern type of things in them, whether it be lots of light or bright colors and things like that. But yeah, I do a lot of that. So this is, it looks a little plain on the front, I'm not gonna lie to you. Once we get the wall covering on there, it's even more obvious that it's a little plain. But I like it. It looks really old and almost decrepit. Like it really needed some love. So you'll see on the inside once we get in there and I start decorating and putting on wall coverings and things like that, you'll see it's great. So I was struggling a little bit with the roofing here, just because roofing is the bane of my existence in all the Sims games. I'm not gonna lie to you, I miss auto roofs from The Sims 3. That would have made this a whole lot easier, I think, for me. But there were a couple areas like that little backwards L-shaped spot that I just I put a little silence. I put I don't even know what they're called. I can't even tell you. The railings. Oh my goodness, the railings. I put the railings over it because I didn't want to try and hassle with dealing with roofing. So here's where I got tired of looking at wall coverings. I cut out a bit of the video where I was staring at wall coverings for like 10 minutes, and I decided to go with a straight brick exterior, thinking if it's older, it's not going to have a lot of detail involved with it. It's not going to look like it had any special architecture wall covering on the outside. It's just going to be all brick one way or the other. Just like some beach houses have like brick on the bottom and then siding up on the second floor or third floor or whatever. So this one's just all brick, and it looks nice. I think it makes it look a little dark and stuff like that. And that front door, I do end up changing later on through the video. The windows are big and open and bright. Again, thinking of the modern person who bought this house, she wants a lot of light, and she decided to break open the walls and put some new windows in and stuff, which is pretty cool. I'm doing the fencing now. I don't normally put fencing around the houses that I build, but I thought this one would have been appropriate to have fencing, just again because it's a little older. And all that crap in the backyard, I promise you, it does go somewhere. Some of it gets deleted, and some of it just ends up somewhere else. But I downloaded a lot of Halloween custom content for this particular build, and then um, a lot of it got used. Um, I like that. I like the painting there that I'm dragging around. I find a really nice place for it here in a second. I wanted to. It's such a big painting that I wanted it to be a feature. So right when you walk in, you see this painting, and that it was perfect because it's just the right amount of creepy. She's half skeleton and it's perfect. I love it. It looks kind of like a creepy doll, like a broken doll. It's nice. Um, Lighting and stuff like that I struggled with in here because I wanted to make sure I was using older style lighting, but at the same time I was thinking like, oh well, she might have replaced some of the lights, and the places that she's most frequent, like maybe the office, she would have replaced the light, and the kitchen she might have replaced the lights. But I went with I'm pretty sure I kept these hanging ceiling lights throughout the majority of the build because they kind of did both for me. They were a little bit chunky modern, like the old modern kind of style that everybody's really into right now. And then we're working on the living area. It's a really small living area, just like a walk-through. It's got a couch and a TV, and that pretty much covers it. Put some books up there and make it look all comfortable. You'll notice I'm not like a lot of other builders who want to make sure they get all their wall coverings and floors in right away. I usually save that to last, just because I like to know what the feeling of the room is with all the stuff in it before I decide on colors. Because it almost feels like, to me, when I'm working on it, mind you, my builds take like 4 hours. This one build took me like 4 hours to do. And so I don't like to redo things I've already done. So covering the walls with something right away, unless it's just plain white, so I don't have to look at the drywall, just seems redundant to me. Like I go in and I'm doing white everywhere because I don't know what colors I want on the wall right now. And I take that brick and I kind of go along edges in this one feature wall a bit because I like the industrial looking brick on the inside of the house. It makes it look a little authentic, like it was there and it was originally there and then people covered it up. The kitchen is actually probably one of my favorite parts of this build. It's almost like she may have redone some of it and then kept old countertops, like the old counters in general, and then she bought herself a new fridge, but she liked the stove, so she kept it. I was going to do all uppers around the area. I was going to put the upper cabinets and stuff, but it felt like it was going to close in the room too much for me. I like, when I make builds, I want to make sure that there's plenty of open space. It doesn't feel too cluttered. I'm not a fan of building houses that are super cluttered. So even what I've just put up there, a lot of that comes down because it just looks like too much for me. A lot of the shelving there comes down. But I like open shelving. I think when I buy a house of myself, I'll want to take down any uppers that I have and just put in extra cabinets. Or not extra cabinets, extra shelving, just because I like open shelving. I mean, I don't have anything to hide from you in my cabinets. I have wine glasses, I have plates and stuff, just like you do. So I don't mind it so much. I have, as you can see, I'm going through the bottom there where the items are, and you can see a ton of custom content sitting in there. I recently cleared out the majority of my custom content. I was having issues with Sims spawning with the same face over and over and over. I mean, I couldn't get away from it. I hired a delivery guy and he had the same face as the baby I had like 2 days ago. And like the Sims baby I had 2 days ago. And it wasn't authentic to me, and it was really driving me crazy. It was weird because they didn't have eyebrows and they were just creepy looking Sims, and I really just couldn't get on board with it. So I had to do a custom content clear out because I couldn't pinpoint the actual piece of custom content that was causing the issue. And I went through and I used Sims 4 Studio, if you guys have ever heard of that. It basically just, it pulls up like the full view of all of your custom content, so you can see what it would look like in game. So if you wanted to look at a t-shirt or something, you could look at a t-shirt and it would show you the t-shirt that you were trying to look at, you know? So I went through and I deleted a ton of stuff, and eventually it got my game to work again, which is nice. I don't have the same looking people walking around over and over again. So I did take down those shelves, and makes it look a little more open. And I'm going through window coverings here now. I was struggling a little bit to find window coverings I really liked for this build, but I ended up just going with some basic whites and then the skinnier black ones in some spots. I only recently started using window coverings in The Sims 4. These ones are really nice. I never used window coverings in any previous Sims game, so it's partially new to me at this point to be using window coverings now. I never thought it was really very important until I watched a couple of builds by Deligracy and I saw how different the builds looked when she added window coverings in, like how much more homey and lived in it looked, you know? So I started adding them in, and I put them in almost every build now, just because it just makes it look more realistic, I think. I mean, you wouldn't walk around with floor-to-ceiling windows in your house and you know, like, do you. I mean, like, I walk around with no pants in my house, but I wouldn't want to do that with floor-to-ceiling windows without window coverings. So it's much more realistic this way. As you can see, I'm adding all kinds of stuff all over the place. I don't really follow a pattern when I build. I just kind of go with whatever I feel like doing. And these bloody hands you'll find throughout the whole build. I hid them all over the place. And I'm just kind of going through and messing around with different rooms and stuff like that. I don't know when I decorate that office. I kind of forgot that I put the office in there, and I think I started decorating upstairs before I started doing the office downstairs. But, you know, yep, I did. I just kind of forgot that the office even existed down there. But it will eventually become an office. I put a desk and stuff in there and a computer. These beds, though, I got them. I was getting really tired of the Sims 4 beds, and these beds are actually still in my game right now. They're custom content beds by, I believe it's Saudade Sims and Varenka, who did both this bed and the single bed that I use in the other bedroom. And if I can find it, I will link them down below so you can go and pick out those beds for yourselves. I believe they're on Tumblr. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's where they are. There we go. Now I'm going to work on the office. Didn't take too long for me to remember that that existed. I kind of wanted to make this feel like a regal kind of looking office, so I put a nice sturdy type of desk in there, and I made sure it was kind of sitting towards the center of the room, so she'd have to go around to sit down and she'd be able to see anybody who comes through the door, kind of like as if you went to an office building, or your boss's office or something like that. You'd go in and this is kind of what it would look like. And then I put some skill building stuff in there. I don't really ever put a skill building room in my builds. I tend to just scatter stuff all over the place. So I have the violin and the guitar in here with the computer, and then upstairs I end up putting an easel somewhere, and it's kind of just all over the place. The walls in here ended up looking really bare, so I started to put the paintings and stuff around, and then in the office specifically, I decided against that later on, and I pulled that painting off and put something else up. This bathroom, though, I'd like to talk about this bathroom because it's definitely my favorite thing in the whole build. I mean, besides the backyard, because when you guys see the backyard, you're gonna like it. But this bathroom, I really like it. I had tried to deal with the cabinets looking like this and put a sink in the center, but it didn't work out that way for me very well, so I ended up going with a single cabinet and a side cabinet, and I put some towels in it. I don't know if the rubber ducky made it in there, but I had planned to put a rubber ducky in there. Hopefully it's stuck. But I go ahead and I put the sink in, and then I go for the towels and the duck. There's the duck. So I'm raising objects holding the Alt key and 9. If I just do 9 on its own, it tends to snap me to a camera view, and I can't figure out how to fix that. So I always hold Alt. I always hold Alt and then 9, and then I can raise items, and it does what I need to do without snapping the camera. Um, Looking for a mirror here. I couldn't find one that looked old enough, like a nice mixture of old and modern, so I just kind of went with a modern one. And then toiletries, and we're gonna get to the pillar here in a second. So I drop a pillar straight in the middle of this bathroom. And I know it probably looks crazy to you right now, but it's about to make sense. So in this game, you only get one tub that has a curtain on it, and that drives me pretty crazy. And the reason why it has a curtain is because it also has a shower attached. So, I mean, I get the point of it, but I really like that those new curtains that came with was it movie stuff pack, because I can make it look like there's a curtain in the bathroom, and that makes me very happy. So, that's probably one of my favorite parts about this build. Really, any build that I do that has that, I'm very proud of that trick. It's kind of like putting lights underneath shelving so that it makes the kitchen look brighter, but you can't see the lights. I mean, tricks like that make me very happy because it's kind of secretive. Like, oh, how did you do that? Oh, well, there's some secret lights underneath these shelves. I don't know. It makes me happy to think about it. So this room was a little too small to be putting another double bed in here, so I went with a single bed, and I kind of went with a child's theme. Maybe she's a single mom who comes in here, or maybe a dad with a kid comes in here, or an aunt or an uncle and a kid that they've adopted, or whatever. I mean, it is what it is. So I fit the single bed in there, and I did a black and red type of theme, and then I'm going to go in and do the shared bathroom with the floor. This bathroom is very long. I I didn't anticipate that I was going to have any issues with this, but I kind of sort of did, I suppose. I wanted to make sure that I got the sink and the toilet in there, and then I was left with that kind of corner area, but I didn't want to move the shower because the window was there, so I compromised. I threw up a wall there, and then I tucked in the shower into the corner, and then I put a plant in the way of the toilet, so that if somebody's walking by, they don't just like stare up into your bathroom and see you sitting on the toilet. There's the easel in the middle of the hallway, and I think I ended up putting down a pretty nice rug in here. Rugs are another one of those things I didn't really use very often, but they tend to make a build or break it, I think, at this point. At least in The Sims 4, I mean, everything's kind of, I don't know, it all fits very well together. I don't know what I was thinking in The Sims 3 and The Sims 2, where I just didn't use those types of things. Like, oh, I don't need window coverings. I don't need rugs. Nobody uses rugs in real life. That's fine. So I came back down and I started doing the dining room there. Did a quick dining room with some custom content chairs and adding a little detail stuff around. See, I got to building, and then I remembered this is supposed to be a Halloween build, and I'm supposed to be doing things Halloween styled, and I forgot I was doing that until about this point, and I was like, oh yeah, let's do this. Let's put all this stuff in here. So I'm working upstairs on the last floor, and I thought about doing this as a basement, but the taller the house, the creepier it is. So I decided, no, we're just going to go ahead and put our little witch's lair up on the top floor, and it's going to be great. So this whole room gets a little dark once I put some wall coverings over it, and I found that big, huge cauldron in the center of the room on, I think it was a Sims resource that I found that, and these the little cauldrons that they gave you with Spooky Stuff Pack, I used those as well later on, you'll see them, and my little boo sticking his tongue out at you. Those are lights, by the way. They don't look like lights, but they're lights. Yeah, so this is where I start putting in those little cauldrons. I figure if she's a witch and she's doing this often, she's probably got a couple of potions going, right? So I add in those cauldrons. They look pretty nice. A little wine barrel or blood barrel or whatever you want to call it. And a scale. I put the fireplace in just because it kind of makes it comfortable, I guess, in there. Like you could have a fire burning and the lights off and you're working on a potion. It'd be really creepy. But I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. Um, Stuff that kind of brighten the place up, though, are definitely the paintings or the photos, I guess, on the walls up there. They're orange, and that's really bright in this room. Um, I think I did a red. I think I put red on the wall up here. I don't remember completely if I did or not, but I think I did. And then this, I'm using all kinds of things that I don't normally use in builds. That room divider is a new thing for me. I don't normally put those in builds. But it seemed appropriate here because, I mean, if you somehow find yourself going upstairs and you're not supposed to be up there, it kind of hides the fact that she's working on potions and cauldrons and stuff. I'm also just trying to fill the room in. Whenever I think of witches' lairs and things like that, I tend to think that they're really crowded and there's a whole crap ton of stuff in there, and you kind of look in and you don't really know what you're looking at because you're just overwhelmed by how many things are in there. Then I put some shelving in, those old books. That was the first time I used the book cart too. Surprise, surprise. And those little goblets. I think I put one of those downstairs later on too. I like those little goblets. I think I kept them after my CC clean out. I'm pretty sure I kept them. Put a couple of chairs up there. Not that there's going to be that many people up here, but I did want to make sure I surrounded the fireplace with some chairs and put a chair next to the cauldron just in case, you know, they get uncomfortable and they need to sit, I suppose. And I put some more wall covering too. Oh, that's what was red in the room. Though the window coverings there were red in the room. So I think at this point we mostly end up outside. So I made it dark out so I could make sure I was putting lighting in the right places. And then I tried to put a door here, and then remembered that all my stuff is on that wall, and I can't just do that. So I had to rearrange. I mean, I put it there, and then it occurred to me maybe I shouldn't put it there because then I have to move everything in the kitchen. So I go back there eventually, and I remove the window, the single window with the black curtain. I remove that window and I put the door there to go out onto the back patio. And I'm just adding in more rugs just to fill out the floor and some more detail stuff, paintings and things like that. Oh, this is where I started working on the office. Forgive me. So that big, huge blackboard thing ends up in the office, and it doesn't stay white. It turns into an actual blackboard. It comes in two swatches. Obviously it's custom content, but it comes in two swatches, and there's the white one and the black one, and I ended up using the black one, and I tried to make it. I mean, you'll see it when I get to it. Apparently, I am mistaken. I'm not actually doing that right now. I'm filling in more crazy, bloody handprints. That's what I'm doing, and putting in a beautiful clock. All right. At any point, maybe I'll get to the office. Some point. Eventually. I did not go all the way outside and do that without doing the office, did I? I might have. Like before I fixed the wall in the office. Did I? Oh, so those paintings came with the spooky stuff pack, and those are the ones that swap between, like the guy swaps from a regular guy to a werewolf, and the girl's, like, she gets, I don't know what she does when her portrait moves, but eh. I'm putting out some pumpkins and a pumpkin carving station because it seemed appropriate at least. And did I put a little seat out there? A bench or something? Yeah, I did. Okay. And then I guess I do start working on the outside. Well, shows me. Can't be right in my own video. That would be crazy. So I moved over a ton of those trees. I just kind of cut that part out. I moved them to the outside and attempted to do a little bit of terrain tools. And then this is where I start working on the backyard. So this pool looks really overgrown, like it needs to be cleaned and it needs like a full treatment and everything. But I really like it, and your Sims can swim in it. I don't know if they can swim from end to end, but they definitely can swim at least in the part where they get in and out of the pool, by the railings over there. And it came out. I mean, I really like this whole. The whole backyard came together really well. I was surprised in myself. I'm usually not that, you know, good at this kind of stuff. I mean, I love doing terrain edits and landscaping and stuff like that, but the backyard came together way better than I thought it would. Um, and some people might take out their terrain and their landscaping parts of their videos, but I like to leave it in there just because I mean not everybody knows how to do this themselves, and it took me a while to figure out how to properly landscape a build. So at this point, like I just kind of throw stuff together and see if it works. But it took me a long time to figure out, you know, how to properly do it. I mean, you can landscape and it can be really sparse and it'll work for a certain build, but there are some other builds that you really want to spend your time and put a lot of landscaping in. It's really unfortunate though that it can get kind of expensive when you want to deal with a lot of landscaping, but I'm using pretty much all of the flowers I could get my hands on. Um, we added in some trees and stuff like that, and I ended up putting some garden boxes in and a couple of round ones, just for some more skill stuff. Maybe they grow their own herbs for. Maybe she grows her own herbs for her potions and stuff like that. So I made sure I put those in there. And no, I mean if you were to, I mean I would encourage you to download this build just for the bare bones of it and the backyard and the landscaping stuff like that. But I mean, I'm not gonna toot my own horn or anything. But um, when you do, if you do download it, if you want to use those garden spaces, you are gonna have to move the landscaping that's on them. I mean, I would think that's pretty obvious, but some people might not know that. So if you do decide to download this off the gallery, you'll have to move those ones that are in the boxes to actually utilize the spaces in the boxes. Um, I'm going in. I originally wanted to do dirt just so it looked like, you know, just dirt. But I ended up putting in those sparse stone walkways, made it look a little dirty on top of it instead, which I think looks a lot better than just a dirty backyard, especially because the backyard is so lush with flowers and things like that. You want to make it look at least a little manicured, because I mean they put all that effort into all that landscaping back there. And then working on the front yard here, I end up putting a bench off to the side of that glowing tree, the glowing dead tree, the one that has all the lights on it. I end up putting a bench over there underneath the light, and I think that's a pretty interesting part of this build. I I haven't done that before. It kind of looks like a spot on the side of a regular pathway somewhere public, you know, that you would just stop and sit down. But it's on her lot. I mean, I don't know if Sims are actually just gonna go sit down on her bench or anything, but that'd be pretty interesting if they did. So I think I'm going in. Yeah, I'm going in and I'm filling in these little patios. So there isn't actually an access to the patios that are up there. Oh no, I'm gonna do this. See, more things I don't know about my own video. Still filling in the backyard. Eventually, I will go up to the patios. I didn't end up putting access to those patios out there just because putting in doors up there for nothing would have been just a waste, I think. And the windows look a lot better up there anyway. In my mind, maybe they open the windows in order to water the plants that are out there. Who knows? And here we go. Okay, cool. So I start doing that out here. Yeah, here I just put the fountain in the back. I don't really worry about that, or the front patio area. And then up here I put some window boxes. So it just fills it in, makes it look like they go out there sometimes. And then I put the pumpkins out here. I mean, obviously you'd have to open the windows and pull the pumpkins because they're not going to stay good pumpkins forever. And then a witch's broom just in case. I have tons of brooms. I think 3 or 4 brooms in this build. She just flies around all over the place. Who knows? And I'm adding in some more spider web. I love the webbing. It makes me happy. I put it kind of all over the place. I put it in the front, in the back, along the tops and stuff like that. I wish it was more realistic looking webbing, but I suppose if you had it more realistic looking, it wouldn't really fit into The Sims 4 because it's a little cartoony of a game. But it still looks really nice. At least I think it looks really nice. Just some more detailed stuff, making it look like they actually use the garden in the back. And those keys that I made larger, I use those with, I make, if you don't know, you can make items in this game larger by using the bracket keys. So when I use those key painting or the key pictures, I make them bigger because the keys themselves look too small for me. I want them to look fake. I mean, obviously they're not real keys anyway, so I try to make them look fake. And best way to do that is make them bigger. And as you can see, I'm going in and I'm changing it around the flooring in here. And this is where I decide that I'm going to work on the blackboard. So I had a little bit of a problem with this. I was trying to get the writing in the middle and have it actually be in the middle, but it didn't work out for me, so I just ended up putting it on the top. So I was trying to layer 3 of them and then put the two blank ones and then a written one up in the middle, and it didn't work for me. So the written one's just on the top, and maybe there's a hidden step stool somewhere or something. And then some more landscaping out in the front, adding in some rocks and a couple more flowers. I put the trash can out front. I don't know about you guys, but it just seems more realistic that it would be somewhere close to the front of the house, maybe. So they didn't have to walk all the way to the backyard, and then that backyard doesn't have an access, so you have to go through the house to get to the backyard. So I can't imagine somebody wanting to take their trash bin from the backyard through the house to the front to get the trash taken out. It just doesn't seem realistic to me at all. So I went ahead and put the trash can out front. And then I was trying to put a window up here. I don't know if those windows stuck. I might have taken them off. I don't remember. Who knows? And then I furnished this little bit of patio that's out here. And I think after that we go into the screenshots here. And that will be where I leave you. So, oh yeah, here's the bench. So the Spooky Collab has its own playlist on, well, Rory Play Sims is actually putting together a playlist. So I will link that playlist down below, and I hope that you guys check out all kinds of other creators maybe that you haven't had the chance to watch before, because they all have some great stuff on there. Great builds, create a Sims, stories, great stuff. You should really check it out. But so far, that's all for me. So I hope you guys have a happy Halloween, and thanks so much for watching the video. Bye!